Okay, so I am going to go ahead and hone my cylinder. This one's going to be cylinder 1. I already did cylinder 2 and 4 on the other side. Now this one is being done while the block is still on the Jeep and the crankshaft is still attached, so it takes a little bit of precaution. And what I had to do was, if you rotate the crank, there's going to be a spot where it's not quite bottom dead center, but there's going to be a spot where the counterweight is shifted over and you're going to have a little bit of exposure to the journal. But I just placed a bearing on top, a used bearing with assembly lube right on top as a precaution. So there is a sweet spot, rotated around, and what I'm going to do is kind of clean the cylinder wall first. And I'm using, because I'm using MALH rings, I'm using a silicone oxide hone brush at 240 grit. I have the service manual. When I read the service manual on every single hone, just because it's just a process to eliminate errors. I don't want to get into repetitious mode and make a mistake. So I read it each time, and it's recommending, it's on page 4702. 4702 out of the service manual, and it's recommending 20 to 60 strokes using 280 grit at 200 to 300 RPMs. And it says down at the bottom, it says caution. It says do not use automatic transmission fluid. Yeah, it doesn't want to use automatic transmission fluids, and it just has a very specific oil to use. It says or mineral oil or kerosene. I think it has to do with the rings that they use. They didn't obviously have the same material as, because I'm assuming they didn't have the same material as MALH. So now that I got that wiped down a little bit, what I'm going to do is I like to place clean rags down below, and I measured so what I did is I measured my entire stroke, and I wanted to make sure that when I go to hone, there's enough clearance between the journal and the end of my hone drill. So I even taped it off a little bit just to be cautious, and I know that my entire stroke is going to be 5 3/8 roughly, and the hone brush is going to be 5 inches, so I have about 3/8 of gap. So when I get down to the bottom of that cylinder, there should be about 3/8 gap. So it's measured, and then I'm going to go ahead and put rags down below as a safety precaution. Now I'm recording this. I'm not a professional, but I just couldn't find anybody that's honing on this Jeep while everything is still attached. So I figured if I make a video showing my process, maybe it'll give somebody else some good ideas on how to take care of their project. All right, and what I'm using is Flex Hone, and I'm also using the Flex Hone ball. Mine's 240 grit, and so the reason why, from my understanding, they want 300 RPMs is because that determines your cross angle, your cross hatch. So if they're requiring a 45-degree cross hatch, which is what Jeep is requiring, the speed determines that. Just like when you go to a car wash, those huge brushes that go inside of your car, the brushes kind of lift up a little bit the faster it spins, and I think that's how this works too. Okay, so that's lubed up. I'm gonna go get the brush and get a light. So this is the hone ball that I'm using, and I have it on speed low, and I have it on a clutch at 9. And the theory behind that is that if it catches an edge, the clutch on my drill would give before it caught an edge and cause more issues in my cylinder. All right. And I have a piece of tape at the top of my drill so I know my spot point. Oh, not that bad. Okay, and I got the thinnest one I can find. So they have ones that are a lot bigger. I got the smallest one I can find on Amazon, and this was like 60 bucks. Okay. Clean that a little bit, see how this looks. I think that looks pretty good. I'll give you a close-up view. So it needs to go a little bit faster. A little faster than I'm doing. That's definitely not 45 degrees, but I'm gonna roll with it because I don't want to take any more material out, but go slightly faster than that. But there's my rags. And you can see how close the journal is and the counterweight. You don't want to hit the counterweight, and you don't want to hit, you definitely don't hit the journal. So you got to rotate these until you get some more clearance. Let's see if I can, I don't have my wrench on me, but yeah, you can rotate it, you'll find a V cutout. There's a sweet spot between the both. So that's what I've been doing. And then my plan is to probably cut down my length of my hone brush when I get towards the back, just so I have enough clearance. All right.